On this episode of the Rebrand Review, we're going to be talking about podcasts in the world of audio entertainment.
It's a totally different realm for us.
I'm Tony Hardy, founder and director of Canny Creative.
I'm Glen creative director here at Canny.
And today we're going to be talking about the podcast platform Realm, who basically are an audio entertainment platform almost like Netflix but for podcasts.
Yeah.
And this rebrand came out a little while back and it was super impressive then. It's super impressive now. Who was it designed by?
Designed by Mother in New York. So I'm guessing they're a big company in New York. I think there's every big company in New York.
They're one of the biggest.
One of the biggest.
They're quite a big company in New York, our Mother. They've designed a lot of great brands, and this is another one. So Realm were previously called Serial Box, as in cereal, S-E-R-I-A-L, and that was becoming problematic for them because obviously you say cereal box, you think of cornflakes, you think of Frosties and Tony the Tiger.
I mean, cereal, the way they've spelled it as well, like there's been a massive influx of people watching like serial killer documentaries and stuff like that.
And on top of that, not only that, there's also the podcast Serial, which is now the biggest, most listened to podcast in the world. So yeah, needless to say, Realm were due a change.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a hard one for me to talk about because it's easily one of my favorite rebrands that I've seen happen. I think it's so just simple and creative that I can't fault it at all, which is not really in the nature of Rebrand Review. I
mean, I can't just get over how like sort of playful and energetic it looks. Like when you first look at it, your instant reaction is to say, what have they done? But the more you look at it, the more you actually like it, and it's just something totally different. Nothing seems to sit how it should sit as a designer, but it works.
Yeah, so they've introduced a little mascot. It's a typographic logo, and what they've done is they've introduced a mascot, but they've used the R, and they've added on 2 dots for eyes, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
But what's super cool about it is just the way that little character, which we now know is called Ruby, moves around the screen. It's kind of just entertaining to watch the little character slide back and forward.
I think it's quite odd because, I mean, considering they're a podcast, the idea is it's all audio, but I think these days as well, everybody records their, as in video records their podcasts as well.
I actually don't know if these guys do.
Yeah. But I don't know if that becomes an extra element for them where they can bring in these type of animations. And it doesn't do much, but the character behind it, when it's dragging its like sort of tail behind, it just works.
Yeah, there's a lot to love about the logo itself. And then you roll into the application and the podcast app for Realm on the phone, it's great. Obviously they've mocked it up to look super good on a dark background and stuff, but I added it to my phone recently and it's a black icon. It's got the Ruby character in the middle, but it uses this really bright, vibrant purple outline, and it makes the app icon just like jump out of your phone screen. I
mean, on them as well, like when you actually look into the project, they've brought these shapes in, and there's loads of different types of shapes. Take the square for example. It's an odd gradient that goes into a darker background, and the idea behind these are they're all portals to a different world. And I mean, that's what podcasts do. The idea is you put your headphones in, you listen, and you just transport it somewhere else. So I think that idea is brilliant.
Portals, not realms, though.
Portals, realms,
I think I probably want them to be realms.
I'll say realms.
Realms do a different world. All in all, the application looks fantastic, and personally, I'm just happy to see a brand not use 2 minging colours together.
Yeah. I mean, even when you look at the start of it, a lot of it just ends up being black and white.
Black and white.
And then the only time they tend to bring some colour in is, as you say, through the purple and then through a few different colours. But I think it goes into like a red and a sort of pinky.
They've not copied eBay for once.
Yeah.
And the whole simplicity of the whole piece works beautifully. There's not a whole lot of applications, but I know for sure when you're scrolling through on your phone, you're looking at it on the podcast app, everything hangs together. It looks great. Of course, there's tote bags. Which brand designer doesn't mock that brand up onto a tote bag these days? but I would carry the shit out of that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it fun. It makes it interesting. I think it's just really well put together.
Something we rarely comment on Rebrand Review, because we always talk about the visual side of things, and that overlooks hugely the strategy and everything that goes into the thinking behind the brand. But like, what Realm have actually nailed and is really apparent to me is the tone of voice and language. But understandably, because they're an audio company, they have to have this big suite of cool language that works. But like, I really like that they're running with things that's like cinema for your ear holes and sounds good with loads of O's in the middle. I think they've done a lot with the tone of voice, and I think
the tone of voice, it really links back in to that fun, energetic little character. Like, you can imagine Ruby, if you want to go with an actual character's name, saying things like this. Yeah. And it totally matches the brand.
And like, listen away, part podcast studio, part magical refuge.
Yeah.
Like, they're having real fun with it.
That language sort of speaks to even being called Realm. Like, when you say magical realm, it all fits in the same suite.
Everything just pow. Yeah. Well done, mother. Well done. In summary, it's unique, it's interesting, it's just cool.
Yeah,
like,
it really is.
It's just cool. It's a rebrand that doesn't fit the mold. They haven't done the same as a million other brands.
Yeah, and it's just, it is literally just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Down to language, down to the character, down to animating, everything just works really well together.
What's not to like?
Yeah.
Let's score this bad boy. It was really hard to not just go 5, 5, 5. 5 and 5.
Yeah.
But we didn't. The only thing we've kind of hung back on is the thinking and concept. We've knocked that down to a 4 because the tone of voice and language is great, and the thinking behind that is great. But like, the logo, they've went 2 dots on an R, and it's so good and so clever. But really, does this little ghost guy or girl have anything to do with it? I don't know. Like, was that more thinking? I'm sure that was the. Mother, not that shit.
Come back to her. This score may change.
This score is a temporary work in progress. Thinking and concept, 4.
Yeah, visual representation, you know the score here, it's 5. We absolutely love everything they've done for visual representation.
The brand mark itself, even though it is 2 dots on an R, you can't help but like it, the way it animates, the way it works, the way it flows. 5 out of 5.
Yeah, typography exactly the same, from the logo type being just totally quirky and fun to then having something that's really easy to read throughout the rest of the application. That's a 5 for typography.
And colour palette, just nice to see someone not using 2 sick colours together. Black, purple and white, can't go wrong. Colour palette, 5 out of 5. That brings the grand total in at 4.8 out of 5. I have a feeling this will be upgraded to a 5 out of 5 in the future. Yeah. For now, 4.8 out of 5. Definitely the highest score in Rebrand on Rebrand Review to date. Definitely. And that's been it. I'm Tony Harley.
I'm Glen Millen.
This has been Rebrand Review. Like, comment, subscribe below, and we'll see you next time.